Okay, so New York Comic-Con, it just wrapped up and, well, let's just say Marvel really shook things up this year. We're talking major status quo change, the kind of stuff that has everyone in the comic book world buzzing. And since you're here with us, you're clearly someone who likes to be in the know. So let's dive into this One World Under Doom event.
Yeah, this isn't just another storyline. This is, I think, Dark Reign, but maybe even bigger. We're talking about a fundamental shift in the Marvel universe, like a whole reshaping of reality as we know it.
So just to be clear, Doctor Doom is in charge now, like Emperor of Earth, just like that.
Emperor of Earth. The announcements, they made it clear that Doom's control, it extends over the entire planet. He's calling it, get this, United Latveria. This isn't some temporary power grab. This is the new world order.
This wasn't just some spur-of-the-moment thing, was it? It feels like this has been a long time coming for Doom.
Oh, absolutely. You've got to go back to the Blood Hunt storyline to really see where this started. Doom, he used some, well, let's just say some serious mystical maneuvering to become the Sorcerer Supreme.
Right, right. And that's huge because it basically made him the most powerful magic user on Earth.
Exactly. And that's the key here. It's not just about power, it's about Doom's ambition. This guy, he doesn't think small, he thinks centuries ahead. Becoming Sorcerer Supreme, it was never the end goal. It was just a stepping stone to something much, much bigger.
And I guess now we're starting to see what that bigger something is with this new Rise of Emperor Doom series coming out in February. 5 issues taking us inside Doom's rise to power, showing us exactly what he does with all that newfound authority. Honestly, I am so there. Even just hearing about it gets me hyped.
And the creative team is top-notch, you know? Ryan North is writing it, and he's been killing it on Fantastic Four.
Oh, right. So he's got experience writing for Doom.
Exactly. He gets the character, the voice, the complexities. It's not just going to be Doom shouting, you know, I rule now.
Yeah.
Every other panel.
Right, right. There's going to be some depth to it.
Absolutely. And then visually, they've got Silva doing the art. His work on Powers of X, it was just breathtaking. So, yeah, we can expect some truly epic visuals to match the scale of this whole thing.
So, okay, imagine it, right? You wake up one morning, you turn on the news, and there he is, Doom, full metal mask and all, declaring himself the ruler of Earth. What's your first thought?
And here's the thing. It's not just him making the announcement. It seems like world leaders are actually going along with it, you know, at least publicly. It makes you wonder if it's genuine or if Doom's using some, let's just say, persuasive methods to get what he wants.
Okay, now that's what I call a cliffhanger. But come on, we know the heroes aren't just going to roll over for Doom, right? Where's the resistance?
Oh, there's definitely going to be a fight. We're as Earth's heroes. They're immune to whatever mind control or whatever tricks Doom might be using. So yeah, we know they'll be pushing back.
Of course. Of course. What's a good comic book without a good old-fashioned rebellion, right? But from what I'm hearing, it sounds like there's a twist here.
Yeah, here's where it gets interesting. There's been this suggestion that some people actually like the idea of Doom as emperor. They want order, they want security, even if it means sacrificing some freedom.
Whoa, okay, now that throws a wrench into things. So it's not as simple as everyone versus Doom. There are people actually siding with him. That's wild.
It really makes you think about the nature of power, right, and control. What are people willing to give up for a sense of stability? I mean, is a world without conflict, even one ruled with an iron fist, really such a bad thing? I don't know. It's a lot to process.
And this isn't just some isolated Doctor Doom story, right? This is a global event. This is going to have ripple effects throughout the entire Marvel universe.
Exactly. Tom Brevoort, he's a Marvel editor, and even he said this is going to touch everything.
Wow, so this is big.
Oh, it's huge. Think about it. Captain America, the ultimate symbol of freedom, now living under Doom's rule. What about Spider-Man? He always stands up for the little guy, but what happens when the little guy feels protected by Doom?
Man, it really drives home the point that this isn't just a Doctor Doom story. This is a global event. The effects are going to be felt everywhere. But I gotta ask, how did he even pull this off? I mean, one minute he's Sorcerer Supreme, the next he's Emperor of Earth. That's a major power move, even for Doom.
Right. It's the question, isn't it? How does someone go from, you know, Sorcerer Supreme to Emperor of Earth, like overnight? It's a head scratcher. We don't have all the details yet, obviously, but it tells you something about Doom, about his, how do I put it? His knack for, let's say, unconventional strategy.
Yeah, we know there was a plan, but the how is still a mystery, which kind of makes you wonder, what kind of world is Doom even aiming for here? Like, is this benevolent dictator Doom, or full-on tyrannical overlord Doom?
That's the question, right? We've got hints. He's taken control of all the media, declared the whole planet United Latveria. World leaders are playing along, on the surface at least. But is that them actually agreeing, or is there something more like, shall we say, orchestrated going on? Definitely something to ponder.
It's weird, right? Because Doom's always been about order and control and all that, but he's also got this massive ego. Like, can someone like that actually rule for everyone else's benefit? Or is his ego like his Achilles heel, the thing that trips him up in the end?
Well, you're talking about a guy who once, built this giant statue of himself out of his enemy's tech. So humility, not exactly his strong suit. Which does make you wonder, can someone with an ego that big handle absolute power without turning into, well, a tyrant?
So it's this weird line he's walking, right? He's in control, but will that control be the very thing that, corrupts him? It's giving me serious power corrupts vibes.
It's got all the pieces for a classic tragedy, doesn't it? Doom, he finally achieves his goal, but then that very achievement, that power, it corrupts him. But then again, this is Dr. Doom we're talking about. You can never really predict what he's going to do.
This is the same guy who, gives these big speeches about wanting what's best for humanity while he's simultaneously, scheming to take over the world. So it's hard to tell what's real with him, what's genuine and what's just manipulation.
Which is why he's such a great character. He's not just some one-dimensional villain. He's complicated, contradictory. Deep down, I think Doom really does believe he knows what's best for everyone, even if his methods are, let's just say, unconventional.
So how do you see this shaking out? Will Doom actually pull off this whole better world thing? Or is it all going to come crashing down?
Well, that's the beauty of it, right? We have no idea. Ryan North and the rest of the team, they get to decide how this all goes down. But one thing's for sure, whatever happens, the Marvel Universe won't be the same.
Yeah, no kidding. And for all you listeners out there who are dying to know more about this whole one world under Doom thing, it really makes you think, what happens to everyone else while Doom's busy reshaping the world?
It's a whole new world order, right? And everyone's going to have to adapt. Think about the X-Men, for example. They've got Krakoa, their own nation. So what happens now? Does Doom let them keep their autonomy? Or does he, encourage them to become part of United Latveria?
Oh, man, good point. I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah.
And what about someone like Punisher? Does he just, retire? I mean, can you imagine Frank Castle just sitting back while Doom's calling the shots?
It really throws a wrench into things, right? It's not just heroes versus Doom anymore. It's different ideologies are going to be clashing, different ideas about what the world should look like.
Yeah. It's like that whole thing, what is it? Who watches the Watchmen?
Exactly. But now it's who rules the ruler? I mean, is there anyone or anything that can hold Doom accountable? Or is he just going to become even more, isolated? Ruthless.
Well, that's kind of terrifying when you think about it.
Yeah.
Especially with Doom, right? Because this is a guy who, let's be honest, has always sort of teetered on the edge of, tyranny?
It's the ultimate question, isn't it? What happens when the smartest, most ambitious, and probably most dangerous person in the world actually gets exactly what they want? Does it lead to, a utopia? Or does it all go to hell?
Maybe both. I mean, could it be possible that Doom actually does make the world objectively better in some ways?
Yeah.
But, and this is the big question, at what cost? It feels like this whole thing is really going to force everyone, readers included, to confront some really uncomfortable truths about power and control. About what we're willing to sacrifice, even for the greater good.
Totally. This isn't just a superhero story anymore. It's a reflection of us, our own world, our anxieties. What happens when we put too much trust in authority? Or when we prioritize security over freedom? It'll be really interesting to see how Ryan North and the creative team, how they tackle these themes.
Yeah, no doubt. This is definitely one of those stories that'll stick with you,
Yeah.
long after you've put the comic down. So, look, if any of this has piqued your interest, if you're even remotely curious about Dr. Doom or the Marvel Universe, or even just how power dynamics play out in extreme situations, this is one deep dive you don't want to miss.
This whole one world under Doom thing, it has the potential to be a defining moment in Marvel Comics. You know what I mean? It's a story about ambition, and control, but ultimately it's a story about choices. The choices we make when the fate of the world, or in this case, the fate of the Marvel Universe, hangs in the balance.
It's about looking at those tough questions head on, about, like you said, the things we value and the things we're willing to sacrifice. And honestly, I cannot wait to see how it all unfolds.